If you are a parent looking to learn how to raise amazing kids, then this video is for you. And if you are a parent who is introspecting on things that you could have done better, or questioning and saying, where did I go wrong? Then this video is also for you. So we're talking about parenting, we're talking about how to raise amazing kids. And I have done multiple videos on this topic. I think on this channel there are some. If I do find them, I'm going to drop a link to them here. Depending upon when I have to answer this question on how to raise amazing kids, I will have a different answer. So given where I am now, I have a different answer. 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, my answer was different. Every day is a lesson I'm learning, both as a child and also as a parent. And these lessons are, again, these are observations. These are, as days go by, there is so much that I'm relearning or I'm unlearning along the way. Okay. The source of this video is a phone conversation with a friend of mine recently, and he was trying to make a decision for his son who is grown up and all. And I said, listen, your grown-up child doesn't need you to make a decision. That's all they want from you is to tell them that you are there for them regardless of the outcome, and that if something goes wrong, you are there to undo it or to recover them from whatever has gone wrong, but that they need to take that risk, and that you need to appreciate their decision making regardless of the outcome. That was a message to my friend. So there are a few observations over the years, in the recent years, that I made when it comes to this, and I've been consulted on this topic by many people, and I also have my personal experiences with this. So the first and the foremost is this. You got to teach your children to sit with discomfort. As a parent, my job is to quickly go and fix their frustration and react to their frustration and stop everything that I'm doing and jump into and kind of own whatever they have and see what can I do to make their life easy, which I think every parent, that's the role of a parent anyway. But the thing is, how do you pace it and how do you space it so that there is a lesson for them, and also there is enough buffer for you also to not only just stop doing what you're doing and lose yourself in the process, but also have them grow through whatever the discomfort is. So boredom, waiting, failure, all these are important, and you got to let them happen. Not deliberately, but if these things are happening, then you also need to wait, like kind of step back and see, where these things are taking your child. There is something called emotional endurance. So these things, boredom, waiting, failure, frustration, these things are known to build that emotional endurance. Self-talk is one of the most powerful mechanisms that every parent should teach a child. And negative self-talk is very dominant. As I work with more people, I see, even as adults, we also go through negative self-talk. So there is inner critique, and this inner critique is all of us have it, and in the recent times it's very dominant in the children that I'm seeing, and the times that we are in, thanks to social media and everything else. The inner critique is very dominant. So the inner critique has to be talked back to, and the talk back to the inner critique has to be normalized. So how do you do this? Well, self-esteem is a problem in general. Like it's thanks to the environment we are in, our children are facing self-esteem issues, and the inner critique is always active, and so the negative self-talk is on. So one of the skills that you teach to normalize this, or the way you talk back to the inner critique, is, hey, where is this thought coming from? Who is the source behind this thought? Or who is the source behind this talk? Whose voice is speaking to me? Is this my voice? In a way, you're teaching them to challenge the negative self-talk. And this is something that has to be done. And I think this 10 years ago, I never thought that this is such an important thing. And we only spoke to adults when it comes to self-talk and inner critique. But now this has to do, the sooner you catch this, sooner you have a conversation with your child, then they will be aware of what they have to do when they're alone, and build that level of, say, confidence or self-assurance, so that they can go deal with the real life when they grow up. Okay. Is something called controlled risk. I've seen overprotective parents. My parents were overprotective, would not let me go out and do what I wanted to do, or even do basic things where other kids were doing. Wouldn't allow me to, because I was born late and I was the third kid in the process. 2 of them died ahead of me. So there was so much of history there, and so much of struggle they went through to have me, that it was difficult for them to let go of me to do things otherwise I should do. They never thought that I was a different individual altogether, but I was a part of them. That's what their thought process was. So they never understood, never taught me how, they never exposed me to what is called controlled risk. Risk inoculation is proven to build decision making, build the part of the brain that can process challenges, can see danger and things like that. So it's a very powerful thing. Examples, like go speak on the stage, or go sing, or go hike. Basic, small little things very early on. They're proven. These things grow bigger as the child grows, and then they create some incredible obviously decision making is one part, facing challenges another part, but also the leadership, very early leadership. As a parent, you should also teach how to kind of model, allow them to model the art of repairing relationships. Maybe that's the right way to say it. Maybe not, but I think I tried saying something that I don't know if that sounds right. So you see, in relationships, if we train our kids to avoid a conflict and say yes, then they grow up and they don't fight for themselves, and they're going to replicate that behavior also in other relationships. So if there is a conflict, then they need, instead of saying I'm sorry, maybe you have like 2 siblings or 3 kids or whatever, maybe those scenarios, and 2 kids are fighting and 3 kids are fighting, then you're forcing 2 of them to say sorry to the one who is more powerful, so that if there is no fight, then you as a parent, you feel, peaceful, or you don't want to be part of that. So you're telling the other 2 to compromise and say sorry to the one who is more louder and is more dominant in that conflict. Then these 2 kids will grow up to say sorry to people later on, and that's something that may not be in your favor. In this situation, the scenario, it might be in your favor. So conflict resolution, to some extent, has to be taught. Forgiveness is also required in relationships, so that part has to be taught. And essentially, you got to teach them action in relationships and also inaction at the same time. I think that's what's called a modeling, the repairing part of relationships. So you could teach them action, also teach them inaction relationships. It's hard, but you get the idea. And the last one, which I have been lately telling every parent, which is you got to teach your child how to teach. So you got to teach your child how to learn, not what to learn. You got to tell them what to learn, but also it's important. It's not about the learning, it's the ability to learn the learning. That's what you're teaching. At the same time, you got to also tell them to teach what they learned. So you teach them to learn the learnings, and then whatever the learnings are, you ask them to teach them to either to a sibling or to younger kids, proven to sharpen critical thinking, actually proven to sharpen clarity, which is very important, and also build leadership qualities. Okay, these are some based on where I stand today. 5 years from today, I'll probably speak differently and say different things, but these are some random thoughts on what you need to teach and what you need to introspect. So if you're introspecting on this, you'll be asking the question, hey, did I teach my kid discomfort? Did I teach my kid, how to model relationships? Did I teach my kid how to normalize the talk back to the inner critique? Did I teach my kid, how to take controlled risks? If I did not, then what all can I do now to do that? It doesn't matter. Maybe your child is 40 years old, and here you are at 65, 68, 70, watching this video. Then can you answer? Absolutely, why not? It's never late. Okay, I'm going to stop here. Hopefully this is helpful. These are some random thoughts. I should have been a little more clear with this, so that I could have avoided taking all the small little pauses and trying to collect my thoughts. I want to improve on that. Be a little bit more better prepared, but hopefully my intent came across and this was helpful. If it is, do me a favor, drop me a comment, and if you subscribe to this channel, then I'm here in front of you every day at this point. And that's all for now. Wherever you are, you be safe, and I'll be with you as early as tomorrow. Bye now.